So if there's any questions, Chris, I guess you could just put them up in my chat window, and I'll do my best to answer them.
Well, actually, we've gotten quite a few questions, some really good ones here.
Okay.
I'm just going to read them off real quick. I have a really good one from Doug. He's saying
Okay.
that they do a lot of direct mail and the conversion rates have been dropping. What social media solutions would be a good replacement? And the second part is, do you think social media has reached a point where it can start to replace print or direct mail?
Well, I'm going to answer just a brief bit about that, but I would like Tom to jump on for that, as he probably has some more experience. But I have seen in my years in the social media, I've seen a shift to people getting involved with social media, and they're not really sure how to use it yet and how to monetize it and to measure the return on investment. And hence, that's where InnoGage is going to come in. They have the tools and the technologies to be able to bring a company up very quickly and to help them navigate through and get something going. So Tom, if you can unmute yourself and maybe further address this question, that would be great.
Sure, absolutely. That's a great question. I think it really depends on the demographic you're trying to reach via your campaign. Unfortunately, if you are sending out something that would fit the AARP group, social media may not be the best method to reach them. The older generation is still kind of stuck on the print. They're getting more social media savvy. I'm sure we've all had instances where our parents have infiltrated our Facebook and friended us up, so they're getting there. However, if you're talking about folks, I would say, anywhere below the age of 50 at this point, social media is really becoming quite mainstream. We are seeing corporations begin to scale down on some print, again, depending on the audience that they're reaching. If you're sending direct print to the millennial generation, you're just more or less kind of throwing your money away. You really need to be all over the social media channels, all over the Facebook stuff. And really what we encourage people to do is a blog is just a fantastic cornerstone of social media. It lets you put a ton of information out. It gives you great search engine optimization out on Google. And it lets you interact. You just open up the comments. You can even moderate them in most blog engines, including the two products that we offer, my college blogger for the higher ed group and my corporate blog. Let you moderate the comments for your own safety so you don't have someone really stirring the pot in a bad way. But it allows that beautiful interaction, and it just has so many good things about it. It's a great place to start on social media if you're looking for how do I get my feet wet.
That was a good answer. Thank you.
So our next question comes from Megan. She says, don't servers and digital media consume a lot of electricity, and does this undo the benefits?
Well, yes, they do. As I had mentioned in my presentation, that your home computer does use electricity. The servers that are connected to the internet that serve out these pages and these blogs do consume electricity. And the phone companies that either cable or DSL or dial-up consume electricity. But there's been a big push for clean energy and alternative energy production, technology advancements, and this is to replace the old coal-burning plants of yesteryear. So as these solar-powered, wind-powered, geothermal-powered, hydro-powered facilities come up and generate this energy for essentially free using alternative energy sources such as wind and sun, we can start powering our systems with lower cost renewable energy. So that's what we're striving for at InnoGage. We're actually looking at 100% solar-powered server farms to host our system software on. So that is a good question. And I think as time goes on and advances in clean energy become better and better, that the costs will be going down and down and down, and it will be much cheaper to run an electronic social media campaign than it will be a print media campaign for both dollars and cents and environmentally wise.
And we have another one from Megan is, how do you recommend corporations retain control of their brand with social media taking over advertising?
Okay. I would like Tom to jump on that, as I heard him mention something about that the other day, and I think it was a good explanation.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to address that question. A major concern we're seeing across, pretty much all higher ed institutions as well as corporations, and really what we've run into here is the word control is no longer the best word to use. During my time at Kellogg when I was majoring in marketing there, we learned a lot about brand managers and how they would control their message. We've really entered into an era where the consumers and the people, living their daily lives are in control. They are in control of your brand. You are not in control anymore. So I believe that the terminology needs to change a little bit, and the way we approach it needs to change. The question really should be, how do we influence our brand, not control it? And the way you influence it is in a number of ways. One is by actually letting the user community, let them in to talk about your products. And if they hate your products, that's probably something you should know about. And then you can put that back to the drawing board. You can fix the problems. You can deal with the issues. It's actually a very good thing. If things aren't working well, or if the market research didn't turn out quite right and you've got a product that's causing a lot of frustration, you might want to know about that before you find out when your sales all start tanking. So you just need to, it's kind of a different thing. You need to be very open to the constructive criticism, and you really need to be able to try to influence your brand by responding to the community. And I think that is where the world has shifted.
Okay, that sounds good.
And then there's a question that came up, what's the most creative green technique you have seen a company use?
The most creative green technique. Let me think about that for a second.
Well, while you think about it, I actually have an example.
Okay,
there
go
is
ahead.
a data center that is being built here in Ohio that's going to be completely green. It's going to be completely off the power grid. It's using solar and wind for all the power. Data centers host all the servers, and so they're going to take all the heat that's coming from the data center and pipe it through to a pond to create biodiesel and to farm fish.
That's great. That's cool. I was going to start thinking about some of the solar-powered server farms as well. My favorite one is where they build them below ground, and the roof is actually dirt and trees and vegetation and little vegetable gardens, and it acts as a dual purpose. One, it keeps ground level there. It keeps the trees there to filter the oxygen, and it also, since it's underground and the sun's not beating down on it, it stays cool. So it serves a dual purpose.
Very cool. And actually, you know what? This is Tom, and I actually have one as well. My favorite one I've seen so far. I got to give them the award for the most. It's got to be the most innovative way of generating power that I've seen yet. It's a firm. I believe it's over in Europe that they're testing it right now. And what they've done is they've actually placed small power generating equipment inside these kind of large floatable buoys, and they string them all together out in some very rough water. And the way the mechanisms work, as the tide and as the waves crash and thrash these buoys around, they're actually turning turbines inside each one of these buoys and generating power that runs along the strip of these buoys and then pipes down into shore. And what's really cool is it's literally just converting kinetic energy into power. They found absolutely no environmental impacts whatsoever. There's no waste. There's nothing, because it's just literally taking motion and turning motion, the motion of the water, turning the motion of the water into electricity. And I thought that was really, really cool.
That is really neat.
Okay. Well, that's our last question.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. And if there's any further questions, I've left my contact information up here on the screen. Feel free to call me on my cell phone or email me at InnoGage, or friend me on Twitter, and we'll be connected. So I want to thank everybody, thank Tom, thank Chris, and everybody that was on the call today, and have a green day on Earth Day. Thank you.